Hola amigos, bien ok. Wow, otra vez poco tarde aquí en Medellín, pero hoy es día 8 con mi proyecto de 90 días. Y en total todo bien. Hoy yo tiene un día muy ocupado, muchas cosas para hacer, pero tengo tiempo también para, como dice, para reflejar y pensar en cómo es mi progreso. Um, Entonces yo voy a compartir esta hora con ustedes, pero en inglés, porque ustedes también pueden practicar un poco, ¿no? So today, day 8 of our 90-day challenge. Um, for me, a very busy day. I've been doing lots of things around town today, so um, not the best day in terms of doing studying, but I have had time to reflect a bit on what I've been doing over the last week. So I've gone back over my notes and I've looked at patterns within those notes, look at different types of vocabulary I had come up, problems I noted, things like that. Some new words, some what we would call idiomatic expressions. So idiomatic because they're not ones you can really translate directly from English to Spanish or Spanish to English. So you just have to know that's just how we say it. So quite a few of those. But the real thing amongst all of this was the verbs. The verbs. There were lots. Now, Bregstein's book is very helpful because she lists an awful lot of vocabulary and lots of work verbs particularly. And I have to admit that a lot of those were verbs that on first look I couldn't remember what they were, so I had to make notes of those. So that's my first observation, is that for me, obviously, if I can better understand the verbs, particularly how they change grammatically, if you like, so how I need to express past, present, future, this is definitely the thing that's causing me trouble. The vocabulary is less of a problem. Most of the readings I've done up to now, through these 7-8 chapters, most of the words I knew. There are only a very few I've had to note down as new words. But the verbs, no, there were quite a few, and I think particularly with how they change, so when I'm needing to express the past of something, the changes, obviously, they come out very differently to perhaps how I'd expect verbs to change maybe in English. So this definitely for me is the big challenge, the verb changing. But that's a good thing to find out, because now I can really start focusing on those, and I think that's going to be the thing that's going to make the difference for me at least. So hopefully that will be a useful kind of revision technique for you to try. Go back over your notes perhaps you've taken this last week, see if there are any patterns, any common problems you've had come up. Perhaps it's vocabulary on a particular topic, perhaps like me it's the verb structures you're having trouble with. Once we know what it is, then obviously we can do more about it. So for me, yeah, it's going to be the verbs. So I'm now going to go back again and look at those verbs that I've identified. I'm going to run those more again with my flashcards. I'm going to use them amongst the flashcards to give me something else just to remember. So at least I can be conscious of what all the different verbs mean. But as well as that, I'm going to note them down so I can at least express the past, the present, and the future for like myself, for you, for them, because they tend to be the common kind of ways we need to express it. So I'm going to try that, see if that helps a bit more. And then hopefully as the book progresses, because obviously it discusses different uses of expressions of time, these kind of things, it should start fitting back together. But the reading aloud has also been very helpful. that was the really positive thing I took out of it, was because each of the chapters, there's a lot of words, a lot of sentences, all the questions. So as I'm doing those, as well as trying to answer the questions, obviously, I'm reading them out loud. And then when I've got the answer, I read that out loud as well. So throughout the hour I'm spending a day doing the chapters, I'm getting a lot of reading practice. And I think that with the use of the podcasts or the videos in Spanish that I'm listening to when I've got time during the day, I'm finding that very helpful. So they're the two main things to take away from it. So on a positive, the reading out loud, yeah, I think I'm finding that very helpful. That's improving my confidence, certainly. On a slightly negative, okay, yeah, the verbs clearly causing me the problem. But I'll take that as a positive because now I know what the problem is. Perhaps I wasn't so sure before, maybe I just thought it was vocabulary. But I think really, no, it is just the verbs. So well, I hope this reflection is useful to you. Perhaps it'll help you focus a bit on how your study's going. Maybe you've got a similar difficulties with some of the words or the verbs particularly. Déjeme saber en los comentarios. Yeah? Let me know in the comments. But until tomorrow at least, have a great evening. And from Medellin, cheerio for now.